Knowing man's lonely spirit must keep tryst, the Lord Almighty freely gave his Christ. And lest his intellect should starve, he sent science and stars and music's ravishment, made for the body's need so many things: honey, fruit, wheat, and crystal water springs. All these are things that any hireling knows, but why and wherefore should God make a rose? Why should he think a crimson-purple thought, with fold on inner fold so finely wrought, shaped like the fragment of an angel's dress, and pencilled here and there to loveliness, all perfect, till one day they fall apart, showing the golden censer of her heart, breathing out odours pure as saintly prayer, as mystical, as homesick, and as rare. Man could have lived his life till evening's close, humbly and worthily, without a rose. But one who knew his weakness and his might made roses, not for need, but for delight. When our hedges are starred with the delicate beauty of the wild roses, first the charming little dog rose, and then the almost equally delightful little field rose, we know that summer has come, and the time for roses is with us again. Some of the choicest of our garden hybrids have retained much of the simple form of the wild rose, with only one or two rows of petals, and the lovely wide-open centre which makes them so attractive. Nor are we the only ones who find the open-scented rose appealing. Beauty of a different kind is to be found in the full-bodied rose, heavy with many petals and often rich fragrance, with fold on inner fold so finely wrought, as Fay Inchthorne expressed it in her delightful little verse. And we must not forget the greatest rose of all time, with its descendants, its children and grandchildren, to whom something of its vigour and hardiness have been transmitted. To some people, of course, the floribunda, with its wealth of flowers, is the best thing the rose world has to offer. But how difficult it is to confine the beauty and the variety of the rose within our rigid classifications. When we say floribunda, are we thinking of this sort of thing with a spray of smallish tight flowers? Or of this with its larger flowers and looser cluster? Or of this with its exquisitely formed hybrid T-shaped flower? But it is among the floribundas that some of the most interesting developments have come in recent years. Such, for example, as the delightful hand-painted strain, with their white or creamy centres, from which all sorts of interesting variations seem now to be developing. An increasing number of people are finding new delight today in the roses which captivated our forefathers years ago with their air of quiet elegance and beauty. It's true, of course, that most have only one flowering spell, and then we must wait for the following year until the next flowering comes. But then isn't this just what we have memories for? So that the exquisite beauty of these old world flowers with their lovely confused centres should linger with us through the long months until they enrich our gardens again. Many of the species and their hybrids have a similar old world charm about them. I think I find the shining, richly veined leaves of and the handsome, colourful heps of some of the rugosa varieties at least as delightful as their flowers. A mixture of the old and the new in shrub roses can give a wonderfully colourful display where there's room to grow them. Not the least of the rose's many attractions is its amazing versatility. If you want to grow your roses out of the top of a 20-foot apple tree, there is no reason in the world why you should not do so. On the other hand, If you wish to grow them on the ground itself, there is equally no reason why you should not do so. Lying prostrate on the ground, they gaze wide-eyed into the sky above. Planted near water, they gather additional beauty from its proximity. The little miniature roses are the perfect complement to small walled terraces. Planted by herself, the rose reigns in regal splendour, but she's comfortable and at home in the cottage garden, all among the Canterbury bells and the lupins and other flowers. When nature festoons our hedges with the native roses, with a prodigality which is typical of her, she spreads great mats of the wild honeysuckle there too. We can often learn valuable lessons from Mother Nature, and the little climbing miniature rose in here is very happy to have the honeysuckle keep her company on the garden wall. For the spot we want to plant up and then forget about, but which will always look beautiful, there is at least one rose which is always eager to oblige. The enjoyment of roses is not, of course, confined to gardens. What flower is there which is pleasanter to cut and arrange in the home? There's a delight in cutting the flowers, not a thing to be hurried over, but to be savoured and enjoyed and made the most of. And then there is the delight of arranging the flowers. What could be more pleasant or more relaxing for the busy housewife than to take a little time off to arrange a bowl of roses for the table, however simple an arrangement it may be? The more experienced flower arranger will take longer, perhaps, choosing her colours carefully to blend, enjoying the opportunity to practice her special hobby. And finally, there is the delight of the finished arrangement, placed carefully in the hall where everyone entering the house will be greeted not only by the view of the roses, but also by their welcoming fragrance. As autumn comes on, the hedges gain a new beauty as the great sprays of rose hips turn scarlet. So too do many of our garden roses. The late roses have an added loveliness as the dew sparkles in the morning sunlight. But what are these? Are they raindrops? Or are they perhaps tears? Tears shed because now summer is gone, and soon winter will be here, and the time of roses will be no more. Who can tell? But this we do know, that after winter there always comes a new spring. Spring with blue skies and racing clouds, sunshine and showers, birds and birdsong. Gardens filled with flowers, the rich colours of the crocus, the daintiness of daffodils dancing in April breezes, the charm of cherry blossom, the splendour of magnolias, tulips brazenly flaunting their glowing colours, then, once again, and best of all, roses. Roses for delight. Roses for everyone's